Hello. In this video, I will be solving, or attempting to solve, the 5 Day 1 puzzles of the Galactic Puzzle Hunt 2017. So obviously there is a spoiler alert for all of these puzzles, as the answers will be revealed for all of them. So there's also a link in the video description if you want to try solving them yourself. Okay, let's get started. Okay, Day 1, Puzzle 1, Puzzle of the Day. Let's take a look. Alright, looks like we've got a set of clues and 2 numbers for each clue. Okay, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 that are just plain dots with no numbers and no clue. Don't know how this is going to work out, but let's get started with the clues. Just starting with some easy ones here. This one I believe is Sierpinski, but let me make sure I spell it right. Okay, I still don't know quite what's going on, but I noticed that almost all of the ones I've found so far have PI in them. That's a good hint that some of these are probably wrong. Like, I'll try to fill in the rest, assuming that everything has to have the letters PI in order. Oh, okay, so another hint here is that these 2 columns are the number of letters before PI and the number of letters after PI. That should make all the ones that I'm missing pretty easy. Alright, so a 7-letter word for tasteless that has PI in the 5th and 6th letters. Okay, insipid. Okay, I think I have all the answers now. And it seems to match up, so I know what these numbers are for, and everything seems pretty reasonable. Still have no idea about these 4 clues that are just periods. Nothing obvious. So I do realize that it's called Puzzle of the Day, and Pi Day in the American date system is March 14th, 314. And this started on March 14th, 2017. So that was the day that this happened, but I don't know where to go from there. Okay, so what if these clues represent digits of pi? And the dot here is the decimal place in between the 3 and the 1, so 3.1415, and then dot, dot, dot at the end. Hope you're not disappointed that I don't have the first 25 digits of pi memorized. It looks like I can index into the answers. Yeah, like all the answers are long enough. All right. Answer is Ulat expanse. Okay, Ulat expanse is not a thing. Ah, okay. Pilau could be pilaf. Answer is flat expanse. Great. Moment of truth. Check your answer spoiler free. Solved. All right, the answer is flat expanse. Excellent. Great. Stop the timer. And we'll put that in our first answer here. Okay, so puzzle of the day. I thought this was a very solidly constructed puzzle. There were 2 spots in this puzzle you could potentially get stuck. One is noticing the pattern that all the answers had pi in them, and the other one is knowing to apply the digits of pi to each answer. This puzzle has no flavor text, but it still has 3 very important clues. One is the title, Puzzle of the Day, since this was released on Pi Day. One is that the enumerations are not just the length of the answer, it's the number of letters before and after PI in the answer. And the third is this dot here and these 3 dots at the end. And I thought this was really well done that these hints were in here. None of them by themselves gives anything away, but they definitely let you know that you're on the right track. they could just as easily have gone with a standard enumeration and gotten rid of these dots, and it would have been much more difficult, at least for me, to be confident that I was doing the right thing. I like that there were a couple pretty unambiguous clues. Vegetable that gives Popeye superhuman strength, genus of the Tong child. It's good to have a couple of ones that you're very sure of, because then you know that any pattern you find has to match the ones that you're sure of. So overall, I thought this was a great way to start the hunt. This was written by Brian Chen, and good job. All right. Angry Portals. Second day one puzzle. Oh my gosh. Okay, we've got a green robot thing here, a blue and orange duck in the corner, undo launched birds, and portal creations. Alright, so I think this game is going to interfere with my recording setup. Let's try it in Firefox, see if that makes a difference. Alright, so it looks to me like a duck can hit any of the black surfaces, but not any of the gray surfaces. Alright, so if the idea is to hit this green robot, it doesn't have enough momentum, so probably what we need to do is drop something from a big height. So it seems possible to get something to go high enough. The problem is it's not going far enough laterally. Could have sworn I tried this. I think I need the blue portal to start farther to the right. Nice. Okay, great. All right. Okay. I definitely made that harder than it needed to be. Where are we now? I don't see this happening. However, I realize that the distance from the bottom to the horizontal section is not that different from the distance from here to here. And this horizontal surface here could have a portal. Okay, finally. Yeah, alright. Do I have to hit all of them, or can I hit just one? Oh. Okay. So I only have the blue one to work with. Wait a minute, if you can go through the walls before the page loads. Alright, let's see. Let's see if this works. This definitely seems like a glitch. I probably should not be doing this. Okay, so I was stuck on Jailbird that had the 3 levels, so I went back to this one that had the 3 exits, gotta hatch them all, and tried to see what happens if I go out the second exit instead. Before I only went out the bottom exit. Oop. Cool. So this one is one I have not seen before. It's pretty straightforward. Oop. So when you get to this one through the middle exit from Gotta Hatch 'Em All, then it opens up here. So what we need to do is go back. In order to get to the top section, we'll need to beat Gotta Hatch 'Em All through the top exit. Not sure how to do that yet. Okay, we need to get a portal pretty close to the top. The only surface that a duck could come out of going that direction is the bottom surface. And we have to come out of there going pretty fast. What we might need to do is build up a lot of momentum using this section here to the left. And then, while it has a lot of momentum, open a new portal right here so that the momentum can be transferred all the way to the top. Let's say we have the orange portal on top and the blue portal on bottom. We want the duck to be falling down here. And while it's falling, we want to change the orange portal to here. We need to be able to move the orange portal while the duck is in motion, which means the duck has to be blue. Okay, I think we're on the right track though. I have no idea what happened there. So, for the last half hour or so, I've been trying to get this set up to work. The top portal to the left and the bottom portal to the right. The problem that I found is that in order for this to work, get to the wall in the upper left here, once this gets going, you need to bring out the other duck and replace the portal like that. This is very hard to do though, because the path of the duck that is going along here is crossing the slingshot. So when you pull out the other duck, it interferes with the duck that is building up momentum. So I think I have a better idea, and I'll try that next. So now the upper portal is on the right, the lower portal is on the left. So that means when we replace the portals like this, the duck that is building up momentum will come up and to the right, and we'll have to hope that it just happens to land in the upper right exit here. So sometimes this glitches out and it replaces the portal even though it seems like it should be going into the portal. 1, 2. Alright, I'm going to stop the video just because I think it might be interfering with the frame rate of the game. I'll let you know how it turns out. Okay, I did it. I have a lot to say about that last section. I will come back to that at the end. Alright, so this is what comes next. All right, this one does not seem so bad. If I shoot upward here, I can't reach the top ledge. But if I shoot downward into a portal, it seems like I am able to reach the top ledge. And so I'll just shoot down again in order to get over this. Oh, come on! How am I gonna get there? Alright, here we are, back at Jailbird. And the orange portal is in the top row, so this should work just fine. Hey, what the heck? Oh, that looked pretty good. Just trusting another one in the exact same place. Wow. Okay, this one might be more involved than I thought. It's like this surface is pointing in the right direction, but there's no way that this has anything coming out of here has enough momentum to reach all the way to the exit. Alright, I have some ideas. So let's say I did open a portal here on the sloped surface where the slingshot is. Would I actually reach the exit? So based on this, it looks to me like if we come out of this portal, no matter how fast we're going, we're not going to get close to the exit. Alright, let's just see what happens if we try to launch both of these ducks through the portals as they are now. The first one will hit the ground here and make a portal. The second one will hit that portal and come out from whichever one we leave behind. So let's leave behind the blue one, which means we want the orange one to be first. Oh, all right. So I don't know if this is the end of the puzzle or what. All right, let's see if huge success is the answer. Yeah, all right, I figured that was not right. Every pixel in this image is either completely white or completely black, except for 4. This one is 94 out of 255, and these 3 are 62 out of 255. I have no idea what to make of that yet, but that's all I've got to go on so far. I do notice that not everything on here is pixelated the same way. It's like the letters down here are pixelated on a 3x3 grid. This is a 3x3 square of pixels, but if you look up at this part, it's completely different. This right here is a 5x4 rectangle. I was hoping to find like some stray pixels somewhere or other, but I don't think that there's any information hidden in the exact layout of pixels in this image. So I guess one thing we can do is listen to the ending credits of Portal, the game. All right. So huge success on this page is from the lyrics of the song. This is probably a horrible idea, but what I'm going to do is try to play the duck sound ending to this puzzle alongside the video of the ending credits of Portal to see if there's any differences between them. Alright, so now we're looking at the audio file that played at the end. So this is a little interesting. So it seems like for the first 30 seconds, the tracks are different between left and right stereo tracks. So you see the waveform on the bottom is only there when the duck sound happens. So right around here, 54 seconds, there's more noise, I guess, in the left track than in the right track. So it seems like they just put certain instruments on one track, but not the other. So my first guess is that this is a dead end. I've taken to just writing down everything that I know so far. There are 4 weird pixels in the image we still haven't made sense of. Yeah, there's nothing left to do a web search for besides huge success, and we know what that means. Alright, I am taking one more look at the grid here, just because I can't see anything else to do. The lower section with the cake layers seems to be on a 4x4 grid, but there is some issue between the left and the right part. It's just 1 pixel off though. It's hard to tell quite where it switches from being 4x4 to 5x5. Apparently, I figured out how to subtract one track from the other, so we can remove the duck quack. All right, I'm gonna have to call it a night. I'll pick it up tomorrow. Okay, I've got one more idea before I give up, and this is a serious long shot. But if you take the 4 pixels and interpret them as ASCII, the top one is a caret and the other 3 are greater than signs. And I was thinking if there's some way that this could be up, right. So the only thing I can think of is this level, gotta hatch them all, with 3 exits to the right, also has an open top. And actually when I was solving it to get the top one, I remember I would fly birds up the top several times, and they would come back down. And I'm wondering, what if we just send a bird as high up as possible? Maybe there's a 4th exit that's hidden here. But I don't know how much faster I can make it than it was before. Let's try it and find out. Did you see that? Okay, I'm gonna try stopping the video, see if that helps. Because I'm worried when the bird gets too fast that it's gonna glitch out. I'm going to guess that this is not the answer just because the game is so glitchy. I don't think they would have expected you to pull this off. So that time I went through the portal, it sounded like 10 times before hitting the surface, and I'm considering a glitch. It should have gone through the portal, kept going through, but instead just landed where the portal was. There. That shouldn't have been possible. So the more times it goes through, the faster it goes, and you can get enough speed to send it flying up. The most I've gotten is 11 times through, then sending it up. And that goes really high, but it eventually just falls back down. So in theory, it might be possible to do higher than that, but it's so hard to get this to reliably just go through 11 times in a row without glitching that I don't think they would have expected you to do that. Also, it's not just my computer. I tried this on 4 different computers, and it's basically the same story. Okay, I think I need to give up here. I am approaching 23 hours. That includes sometimes sleeping, but suffice to say, I have been stuck on extraction for a very long time. So overall, I think I've looked at everything I could think of. Everything seems like it doesn't lead anywhere. I could just stop, but I am going to look up the answer because I think the video would be disappointing if you couldn't see the answer. So let's just look it up. If I was actually doing this puzzle, I would certainly be asking for hints. So this is pretty cool. Okay, so angry portals. The solution to this, which I did not get, was that you go through each level and trace the path that the birds took to complete each level, and that spells out the answer. I didn't think of this. I was not anywhere close. I think that this puzzle was definitely a labor of love. A ton of work went into it, and it really shows. I just want to acknowledge the creators, Didi Liu and Alan Huang, for that. I think that a lot of people probably enjoyed solving this puzzle a lot, and that's what really matters. There's a number of good details. Now that I know what the extraction is, I liked it. I think that was a good idea. I liked that there was branching paths in the game playthrough. I liked that the basic idea of combining these 2 games was a good idea. The level names are clever, and the ending with the song was a really nice touch. So I obviously had a lot of frustration with this puzzle because I was stuck on extraction for 18 hours. So I have some observations that I hope are constructive. I think that when you're making a physics-based puzzle game, it's really hard to do well. I mean, Portal's an excellent game, but they spent a lot of time on that. These sort of things don't lend themselves to puzzle-style analysis, deduction. Like the one time I tried to do that with the gull who leapt through space, I was way off. It was just so hard to reason about where these birds would go. If possible, consider doing a tile-based game instead of physics-based. But I don't know if that would have been possible in this case or not. The physics were pretty glitchy, and that's something that's really good to avoid if possible. Puzzle solvers are going to look at those glitches and try to figure out if there's any clues there. And that could have been avoided in this case. I would have liked a little hint on extraction. Maybe at the very end it could have said time to retrace your steps or something like that. Definitely could have used a note saying that the ending screen with the graphic and the song were not part of the puzzle themselves. The thing is, when you give a image and an audio track to puzzle solvers, they're going to analyze it. They're going to look for hidden messages in it. And there's a lot of stuff you can do with an image and an audio track, as you saw I did. I was a bit amazed that it had those 4 gray pixels in the image that were completely not part of the puzzle at all. I really should have gotten this extraction. The lesson that I can take from this is that I should pay attention to why were the level layouts the way they were. There was more to it that I wasn't seeing. So all in all, I'm ready to move on from this puzzle. I feel like I need some redemption right now, so let's do another one. Learn to play. Puzzle 3. This puzzle will work best in Google Chrome. The final step of this puzzle is no longer solvable on the static website. Yeah, we'll do as much as we can. We may not solve this one. Okay, so we've got a number of words here. It's not clear how they're related. It's not clear how they're laid out either. It's a little hard to tell, but it seems like this might be making a shape. These here seem to be forming an arc. And these here seem to be forming an arc. Alright, so there are exactly 26 words, so I was wondering if we could pair each one up with a letter. It's not the case that every letter appears in one word. Almost every letter does. The only letter that does not appear in any word is Q. So the layout of the words on the page is definitely important, but it seems very unstable. These eyes all the way over here on the left, older and null are more spread apart than they were before. I'm going to go back and forth. Also, the fact that they could have made this much easier by making it a PDF or something, making the layout a lot more consistent, makes me think that there's something else to this besides just the layout. The way this layout is implemented is also really weird. Like this first one is 53.8851 pixels wide. So this could have been obviously done much simpler than this. It makes me wonder if these are supposed to be dynamic somehow. Or it's possible that this is just obfuscation for people who are looking at the code like me. Look, even if I stick to a single zoom level, if I adjust the window size, these words jump all over the place. So I looked closely at the HTML, and what's going on is there are 2 large HTML elements. One of them contains 13 of the words, the other one contains the other 13 words, and they're on top of each other. I went and edited the HTML so that one of them appears red and one appears blue, so we can see which words are in which. That makes it a little easier to see what's going on, but I don't really see how this helps solve the puzzle. So I noticed that a lot of these words are one letter off of another word. The one that really stood out to me was salved is one letter off solved. So I looked at it, and basically all of these words, except snuck in, is one letter off of another word. That's not too unusual, especially with short words like set. They're going to be close to a lot of other words. But I also noticed that in a lot of cases, the word that it's close to is something having to do with puzzles, puzzle solving, or puzzle solving hunts. It's like solved is one letter from salved. Teams is one letter from beams. Puzzles, one letter from puzzled. And I was thinking, where would these words appear together? I checked the rules for this, and this looks like a pretty good lead. Not every word, but lots of words do appear. And multiple appears because one letter off multiply. Yep. The only word that works with wrinkly is crinkly, and that does not appear in here. But it seems like a lot of them will appear in here, and so I can find out what the original word was and compare them. Let me see how this adjusts when you change the width. Okay. Alright, so this page is laid out the same way as the puzzle. In fact, that would explain why they would have to do all those spans of particular widths. We could just go back and forth between these pages. I want to see what's here, where the word hint is in the puzzle, what's here in the rules. All right, hints, hunts. Okay, what about puzzled? Puzzles. Warn, earn. Okay, alright, so this has got to be it. Okay, so that worked out perfectly. All of the ones that I had colored red were part of the rules, and none of the ones that were colored blue were. So I went looking for another document that could match up to the blue ones, and it turns out that the FAQs matches all the blue ones. What you do is you get the original word that's on the either rules or FAQ page, and find the letter that it was changed from. So hunts was changed to hints, so we changed it from U to I. The original letters for the red ones spell out user free agent, and the ones for the FAQ page spell out PW top of the term. So now I think we have to stop, because I think what this is telling us to do is to log into the website, username free agent, and password top of the term. And that's what this was talking about when it said that the final step of this puzzle is no longer solvable on the static website. So I'm just going to go ahead and stop it here, and we'll take a look at the solution. Okay, yeah, according to this, if you logged in using that login information, then the rules and FAQ pages would be different, and you basically did the same thing again and found the letters that were changed and to get the answer. I'll mark this down as partially solved. We did everything we could. Okay, Learn to Play by Chris Jones. I thought this puzzle had a pretty interesting concept. I've never seen it before, with the layout of the words matching the layout on a different page. Apparently I solved it the right way. You're supposed to notice that the words that they're one off from are similar to Puzzle Hunt's words. For me, it was 3 hours of staring at the words before that insight kicked in, and I wonder if I could have gone a little faster if there'd been maybe one more, like, really clear one, but I'm sure that they were very constrained about what they could include. I think it's a little interesting that all that messing around I did at the beginning with the HTML, that did not lead to a solution, but it did come in handy later because I knew what I was looking at, and it helped me to know that I was on the right track. All right, next up, Identities. Let's go. Okay, looks like we've got some sort of scale here on the left, and different points corresponding to it that are names, it looks like. Okay, so I filled in the data. So the way this is a log scale, so the way this works is every large tick is a factor of 10. So it's not labeled, but I'm going to assume that the bottom one is 1. The next large tick is 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000. And these smaller ones are single values. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So the bottom one I assigned the value 9. 10, 20, 30, 40. So based on all that, I filled in where these are approximately. I do see a couple things on here that make me think that this might be right. In particular, the number 42 I recognize as an important number. The character who came up with the answer 42 in the novel Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy was called Deep Thought, and that fits this enumeration right here. This one here, voice actor of 9. There was an animated movie I saw a while ago called 9. I want to say the voice actor was Elijah Wood, but let me check that. Elijah Wood played 9 in the movie 9. Leader 300, that might be from the movie 300, who I think was Leonidas. Yeah. Some of these I had to guess on the exact value, so they could be a little off. So in this case, I need to find a singer who sang a song called 15 and also a song called 22. In this case, I need to find 2 people that are namesakes of some number around 1725. Okay, here we are, 1729, the Hardy Ramanujan number, named after G.H. Hardy and Srinivasa Ramanujan. Let's sort by the number that appeared in the blanks. Remy Sikfandai. Should be me, myself, and I, right? Arthur Clarke, that looks right. Author of 2001, ARTHURCLARKE. Fits the enumeration, but usually this would be Arthur C. Clarke. That line could be anything, anywhere close to 2000. Oh, right, of course. All right, 1984. Nice. Okay, great. Me, myself, and I. Let's see if that's the answer. Nice. All right, let's stop the timer. Okay, Identities is by Brian Chen, who also did Puzzle of the Day. So I liked that this had a pop culture knowledge component and also a logic deduction component. If you had good knowledge of the pop culture, you could probably guess without knowing the exact numbers. Like if you knew a singer who did some song around 50 and some song around 22, you might have been able to figure out Taylor Swift without knowing the exact values. Or if you didn't, you could do like I did and measure the exact values and then just do a web search for it. So I had fun with this, and I kind of needed this puzzle after the last couple, so thanks for that. All right, the fifth and final day one puzzle is Zero Space. All right, looks like some clues. So it looks like the ones on the left are American-style crossword clues, and the ones on the right are British-style cryptic crossword clues. And they're both in alphabetical order. No grid or anything, but we definitely have a place to start. Okay, I've got about half of them. It's going pretty well. I do notice that all of them in each category start with different letters of the alphabet, and there's 26 in each category. So I suspect that we're going to have one that starts with each letter of the alphabet, which will give us a way to pair them up. I have 22 of the 26 cryptic clues. The cryptics are easier in this case to make sure that you're right. So I've only got 4 left, and I'm getting there with the non-cryptic clues as well. And I'm noticing it looks like it's possible to make it so that all of the answers from this side have one less letter than the answers with the same letter on the other side. So XOR gate has 7 letters, xylulose has 8 letters. So that seems like a pretty good clue. I don't know what to do with it yet, but it does help figure out the left-hand clues a lot more. Okay, so I sorted all of the answers that I have so far, and I think I get it. I think that all of the ones on the left, the American crossword clues, are 2 words long, which means if I wrote them out with a space, they would have the same number of characters as the cryptic solution, which means if I can match these up and see what letter appears in the space within the second answer. Alright, this is going to be pretty sparse because I'm only going to be able to see the extracted letter when I have both of the answers. But I think this is right because here I can see clues. So I need to try to get a few more. Okay, now that I see how this is extracted, I'm able to get a few more. And I'm pretty sure I can see what it's going to say here. It's going to say, do it again using cryptic clues. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but I assume that we'll have to index into the cryptic clues somehow to extract a letter from each of those. Let's go ahead and try to finish. All right, I was able to fill in the answers for all but 2, so that it did indeed say, do it again using cryptic clues. So this is an instruction to do what we just did, using the space somehow involving the cryptic clues. It's not clear to me how we will do that though. Okay, so here's where I am. The extraction here said do it again using cryptic clues. So I tried everything I could think of to use the non-cryptic answers to extract a letter from each cryptic clue. And that pretty much led nowhere. I tried like a whole bunch of different ways. Finally, I noticed that the cryptic clues, the length of every cryptic clue is one less than its enumeration. So this, when you look at the words, so that means that what would make the most sense, I think, is to, just like we index into the answers, into the nth letter of the answer, wherever the space was, now we want to take the nth word of the clue. So this clue, spot and then apply Bandage's dissertation, you extract the third word, then, and so on. And I came up with this. And this is pretty much where I'm stuck. I can't really make sense of this. These do sort of look like a cryptic clue themselves, but that could just be because I'm extracting words from cryptic clues. So repetitive by poets say could be air, E-E-R. And some of the other things make a little bit of sense, but certainly I've not been able to figure this out. I've been looking at this list for quite some time now. I'm going to need to call it a night here. I'm going to go ahead and stop the timer because I don't know when I'm going to be able to come back to this, but I will come back to it eventually. Okay, so I'm finally back to this puzzle after a couple of weeks. I think I remember how it worked. So I thought about it. There's two ways you can do it again using cryptic clues. What I was trying here is, instead of applying the non-cryptic answer to the cryptic answer, I was applying the non-cryptic answer to the cryptic clue. And that didn't get me anywhere. The other way is to apply the cryptic clue to the cryptic answer. So actually, so in that case, I would want 10 words in this instead of 11. And if you don't include the enumeration, then it actually is 10 words. But the thing is, there's no obvious place to put a space in here. So I'd want 10 words, and I'd want a space in between two of them. So I looked at like first letters, and nothing was obvious. Then finally I realized that cryptic clues always have two parts. A wordplay part and a definition part, and they can be either order. But if you put that in, that's a natural place to break it. So in this case, a bird that sings is the definition clue, and after sunset is in the wind is the wordplay clue. So what I thought is I would go through, find out where they all break, and then apply the cryptic answers to each word in here, treating the break as a word, and then find out what letter in the answer appears in the break in each case. So that's what I did over here. I went through and found out how many words are in each half of the clue. And this looks promising because it spells out second. So I'm hoping that if I fill in the rest, that it will make a good extraction. Yeah, okay, great. Second place is the first loser. Now, I kind of expected this extraction to be another cryptic clue, but the fact that this is just a regular saying makes me think that this might be the answer. So let's try it out. Okay, that's it. That's right. So we're finally done. Okay, Zero Space by Anderson Wang, Patrick Yang with Seth Mulhall and Brian Reinhardt. This puzzle required 4 people to construct, and I can definitely see why. It must have been a very difficult construction. This puzzle was really intricate. I don't want to go into details, but yeah, very impressive. This had everything I really like in a puzzle. It had a way to jump right in. It had a main idea with the spaces being used as an index that was a really creative twist on our typical mechanics. You know, as puzzle solvers, we're trained to completely ignore spaces, and now you got to treat them as significant. Best of all, it had a second hidden message. I love it when the puzzle extracts to one hidden message, and that tells you that there is a second hidden message that was there all along in the puzzle you've been working on for hours, and you didn't realize it. Always kind of mind-blowing when that shows up. I was stuck on the second extraction for quite some time, and I was thinking about it. I was wondering if there's any way that this could have been a little easier for me. Another alternate first extraction I thought of was redo using cryptic clues words, but I don't know if that even would have been possible. Maybe they tried to do exactly that and it just wouldn't work. So I would say, despite this being a very difficult puzzle that I was stuck on for a long time, I had a really fun time solving it. So great job. Okay, so to recap, of the 5 day 1 puzzles, I solved 3.5 of them. One of them was not available to be solved completely, and one of them I just completely failed on, Angry Portals. Overall, I think this was a pretty good set of puzzles to do in one video. It was definitely fun. Looking at the solve rates is kind of interesting. Basically, the fewer solves there are, the more difficulty people had with it. Makes sense. And mostly it aligns with what I encountered. Although I'm a little surprised Identities is so low. I know it's the second highest one on here, but still, I thought it was just as easy as Puzzle of the Day. So I wonder if there was some issue that people ran into. The ratio of solves to guesses is also pretty interesting to look at. On one end, like Identities had almost no incorrect guesses, and that usually means that people did not have any trouble with extraction. Once they saw the answer, they knew it was the answer. And on the other end of the spectrum is Angry Portals here, with over 10 guesses per solve, which means people had a lot of trouble figuring out what the answer was, I think. And I think that's typical when you have a puzzle with so much content, that there's going to be a lot of loose ends and things people will try. But 10 guesses per solve is a lot, especially since you only get 50 guesses per 5 puzzles. Yeah, so in conclusion, I had a good time solving this. I think it was a good way to start the hunt. Okay, so that's it. Thanks for joining me. I think for the next video, I don't know if it's a good idea to try to do all the day 2 puzzles in one video because they probably get harder as you go along. I do need to try to figure out some format things. I definitely need to figure out what to do when I'm stuck for as long as I was in this case. But we'll see you next time.